All right. Today we have exactly 2 hours to get this done. So I'm going to start a timer for 2 hours. And what I would like to achieve today is actually to get Agora set up. So right now, everything seems to work pretty much the way that I want. We have a few things left. We need to set up a matches page or some way of like matching with a user. We need to set up some way of actually seeing the user's profile picture or somehow showing any information about them, because the phone calls, the idea is that the phone calls will start out with a blurred photo of them so that you can't actually see what this person looks like. You can only hear their voice. And then either we're going to have like a progress bar during the phone call, which when it reaches a certain time threshold, if you've stayed for the full conversation, then the picture sort of like, what I'm imagining is a progress bar that's almost loading, and the further it gets, the less blurry the picture becomes. And so if you've been talking to the person for long enough for the entire bar to fill up, then the full or the high res profile picture is shown. And that is one idea. The other idea is just that you have a phone call, and then once you decide to like, or either you have a phone call and then you get like a time limit, maybe 5 minutes or something. And then once those 5 minutes are up, then you get to see who you were talking to. I don't know how to do that, because like the idea with that is that you don't want to, or I don't want to maybe allow people to speak for eternities, because Agora costs money. That's essentially the thing. Agora costs money, and I think it's per minute. So if I allow users to just talk forever, then it might not be great, because then like 10 users talking for an hour, that's a lot of minutes of talking or time talking. And if you can just increase that by the amount of users, and it could get pretty expensive pretty quick, I think. So yeah, I'm not sure how to deal with that quite yet. I think the best way to do it is to have time limits, although time limits kind of suck, I think, because if you have time limits, then obviously you're limiting the amount of time that people can talk. And if there aren't that many people on the platform, then a 5-minute conversation with someone and then you sit and wait for an hour for the next person to come up, it's not going to be a great user experience. So in those cases, you'd probably want the user to be allowed to talk for a longer time. Maybe there's a solution to this that I don't know about. Maybe the solution could be to like query the database and see how many people are online. And based on how many people are online, you get a certain time to talk to people, if that makes sense. So maybe if there are 100 people online at the same time, then there's quite a few people that you could be talking to. So maybe you get a shorter time per person for the initial phone call that you get. And if there's no one online, maybe there's no time limit to how long you could talk, or maybe there's like an hour limit or something like that. I haven't decided and haven't figured out how to deal with that, but that's something that needs to be dealt with, I think. Just to make sure that I don't end up in a situation where I publish the app and all of a sudden I have a bill for like $10,000 because I have users calling and talking forever to each other. So that's something. We need to have a matches page. So we need to have some way of actually matching users, whether that's a like that you give during the phone call that the other user doesn't see, or whether it's a like that you give after the phone call that the user also doesn't see unless you match. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity here, and there's a lot of things that could be implemented that would be interesting. I think a note could be interesting. I just spitballing sort of, but as I was thinking about this, like, you obviously see if someone likes you and you like them back because then you match. But if you like someone and they dislike you, you don't match, and you will be aware of that because you won't match with that person, but you won't know why. You won't know why they didn't match with you or why they disliked you. And maybe that will feel really harsh if you've talked to someone for an hour and all of a sudden they dislike you, especially if it's when they get to see your pictures. But a way to circumvent that or maybe help that could be to implement features which no other dating apps have, which is like a little note that you could send to the user. So if you dislike the person, or if you decide I don't want to talk to this one again, then maybe you could have a note, an option to send a note to that person. And that way, I don't know if this is like babying people, where you're like trying too hard not to hurt other people's feelings, where maybe they should just be able to handle that. I don't know. But an option that might be interesting would be to have a note where you could just send the note to the person and say that, well, I really liked our conversation. I just don't feel like there was a connection in the way that I want. And so that's why I disliked you. It's nothing wrong with you. You're great. I don't know. Could be a way to ease the fact that, especially if it's like when you see pictures of someone, I don't know. I really don't know. But there are lots of things that could be implemented in the future. But either way, we need some sort of matching system. But the main thing right now is that Agora doesn't actually work. Right now, Agora is using a fake token or something. And we need to have a real token, and we need to connect that to Agora to make it fully functional, which I have no idea how to do. So that's what we're going to try to do in these 2 hours, if I will ever stop talking. So let's get to work and see if we can see how long this will take. All right, I've had to stop recording at certain times during this little thing, but what we're going to do now is we're going to try to run this on my phone. And okay. Build failed. No such module. So I've set everything up according to what Claude suggested for Agora. And now we're going to try it with my device and with the simulator. And hopefully it's gonna work. I don't know. But first we need to actually make sure that we can run it on my phone, which I don't know why we can't with this Google Maps thing, but we'll see. We'll have to go back to Claude and ask for some help. All right, so now we're running it on my phone. So now we're going to sign up using a different email. All right, we get an error at least, which is good. So failed to connect to audio, exception failed to generate token, function exception of status, blah, blah, blah. Okay, at least we have something here. So now let's see what this guy will do. All right, so the max plan, or my plan, the pro plan on Claude has now expired, I think. Has it? All right, I'm not really sure if it expired or if there was something else going on, but I think it expired and I have to update to like the max version, but the max version is like $150 a month, I think. It's a little bit expensive right now. I don't know, maybe it's not expensive actually, because if this works that well, then it might be worth subscribing to this rather than using like ChatGPT for my needs. It seems right now like Claude is actually really good. I haven't gotten as many errors. I haven't had to resend messages to try to get it to like understand what the actual error is. It seems to just understand it, which is pretty cool. So it might be worth upgrading, but right now I'm not quite sure. So I'm going to try sending a message again, see if maybe there was something like some caching in my browser or something that maybe made it think that I've reached my limit when I haven't. I don't know. But we're going to check the logs here. Error. Okay, so it seems like I've reached my limit. I only have 30 minutes left, and then I have to go do some other things today. So I think we're very close. Like we get this. Failed to connect to audio exception. Failed to generate token function acceptance status. Failed to generate token crypto. Actually, we're gonna try to send this to Grok, and we're gonna see if Grok can fix this with very little context. Oh shit. Have I not had the size of this big enough for you guys to read? I'm sorry. All right, let's see if Grok was able to solve this. Okay, it might have actually worked. Joining channel, call with UID, da da da. All right. It seems like it worked. I don't know if it did, but it seems like it worked. We have a phone call. The only thing is we're not getting an image right now. We're not getting like the user profile picture. So I don't know what's up with that, but that's something that we can work on next time. At least we're getting this, and there's no volume or like the bars aren't going up and down based on my speaking right now, which is also a problem. But that could be because we're using a simulator again. So I don't know. But this is pretty good. This is what I wanted to achieve today. Just get a proper channel set up. Let's make sure to leave these calls so that we don't end up in a situation where we accidentally use up all my free minutes on Agora. But that's pretty good. I mean, that's what we have 29 minutes left, which means that I did this in 1 hour 30. And that was the goal for today. So like I've talked about before, I feel like I've lost a little bit of my discipline that I had at the start, which was that something is better than nothing, and actually making sure that I set a goal. And if I achieve that goal, even if it takes not as long as I thought it would take that day, I will still call it a day for that task, if that makes sense. Lately, I've been sort of more focused on time, like spending a specific amount of time every day. And sometimes that leaves me a little bit tired because I can end up like solving a big problem, but then just going straight into the next thing. And that makes me sort of push the allotted time that I have. Like I'm not supposed to work later than until about 12. And lately I found myself just like pushing that limit because I don't have goals that are clear enough, or I don't accept that like, well, this is enough and that's fine, and I can now move on to the next thing. So today I'm going to try to practice that by calling it a day, even though it's only been 1 hour 30 minutes. We did achieve the task of being able to connect to a phone call through Agora properly. So we have production ready Agora, I think. I still need to test that properly, but I think we have that. And that should be enough for today. It's a really important task. It's been achieved. And now we can move on to other things. I don't know. I'm really tired lately. So I feel like I make even less sense than I used to on some of these videos. But we are making progress. We're very close, and I hope that we can get this app published. I am going to go away for a bit of like a holiday for about 2 weeks. So there's going to be a break here, but after that, I think we're going to be pretty close to being able to publish this. I don't know. I think I'm going to publish another video after this one, so you'll see me again. But soon I'm going to do a holiday because I feel like I need to take a little bit of a break. And it's also summer here now, so I think I need to maintain my work-life balance. So therefore, I'm going to take a break. I don't know. I'm tired and I feel like I don't make any sense right now when I speak. So I should probably just call it a day. But thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed like following this journey. I feel like I'm being very slow, although I think Supabase will speed me up a lot. And I'm a little bit regretful that I didn't start out with Supabase from the beginning, because then we would have been, I think the app would have been published a long time ago if I would have started with Supabase. But you live and you learn. So no regrets, just lessons. All right. See you in the next one.